students, welcome to Vagdevi Vikas PU Science College Mudhol online classes. So in our today's class, we'll begin the second unit, which is To Dear. This is a short story which is written by the great Russian writer who is Count Leo Tolstoy. The short story is written by Count Leo Tolstoy. So it is our duty to know a bit information about the writer. So we'll glance, a small glance on the writer. So here the birth year of Count Leo Tolstoy is 1828. The birth year of Count Leo Tolstoy is 1828 and is from Russia and is a Russian writer. He is from Russia and is a Russian writer. And he wrote not only the short stories but novels, short stories, novellas, plays and essays. He wrote novels, short stories, novellas, plays and essays. I hope you know the meaning of novellas. If not, the meaning of novellas is short novel. Novel is a lengthy or large novel. Novella is a short novel. So here Count Leo Tolstoy wrote novels, short stories, novellas, plays and essays. ಅವನು ಬರೀ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಾದಂಬರಿಗಳನ್ನಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೀಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬರೆದ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾದಂಬರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆದ, ನಾಟಕಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆದ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ, ಅವನು ರಷ್ಯನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ. So let us see the famous novels of Count Leo Tolstoy. The famous novels of Count Leo Tolstoy are War and Peace, which he wrote in the year 1869. And the next one is Anna Karenina, which he wrote in the year 1877. The next famous novel of his is Sevastopol Sketches. Sevastopol Sketches is one more famous novels of his which he wrote in the year 1855. And he wrote this novel in his 20s. When he was 20 years of old, he wrote this Sevastopol Sketches, which brought him the literary acclaim in his literary field. And next novels of his are Childhood, Boyhood and Youth, which he wrote between 1855 and 1858. These are called as semi-autobiographical trilogy of novels. Childhood, Boyhood and Youth, which he wrote between 1855 and 1858, are called as semi-autobiographical trilogy of novels. ತ್ರಿವಳಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಟ್ರಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಆಫ್ ನಾವೆಲ್ಸ್. ಮೂರು ಕಾದಂಬರಿಗಳ ತ್ರಿವಳಿಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆದ ಅವನು. ಅವು ಯಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್, ಬಾಯ್ಹುಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯೂತ್. ಇವು ಕೂಡ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತಿಯನ್ನ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡವು. And the other famous novels of his are The Death of Ivan Ilyich, ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಒಂಥರ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರಷ್ಯನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಈಸ್ ಅ Russian writer, wrote all his literary works in Russia, and this short story, Two Deer, is translated in English by Anamika. So here, the next novel of his is, famous novel of his is The Death of Ivan Ilyich, and the other famous novel of his is Family Happiness. And one more famous novel of his is Haji Murat. He also wrote many essays and dozens of short stories, which also became popular. And he is recognized as novelist, short story writer, novella writer, and playwright, and also recognized as an essayist. Apart from that, he is also noted as, the meaning of noted is recognized. He also is recognized as what? A moral thinker and a social reformer. ಅವ ಬರೇ ನಿಬಂಧಕಾರ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬರೆಯುವಂತ ಬರಹಗಾರ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾದಂಬರಿಕಾರ ಅಥವಾ ನಾಟಕಕಾರ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನೇನಾಗಿದ್ದ, he is also famous as what? Moral thinker. Moral thinker ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೈತಿಕತೆಯ ಚಿಂತಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಅನಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. Then he also recognized as a social reformer. Due to his paradoxical persona, due to his ascetic views, he even became a moral thinker and a social reformer. ಅವನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂಸ್, ಅವನ ಟ್ರೂತ್ಫುಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂಸ್, ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನೇ ನೋಡಿತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳು ಅವನನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವು, ಒಬ್ಬ ನೈತಿಕತೆಯ ಚಿಂತಕನನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವು. ಅಂಡ್ the same attitudes of his also made him as a social reformer. Social reformer ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಮಾಜ ಸುಧಾರಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅವನು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸುಧಾರಕನೂ ಆಗಿದ್ದ, ಹಾಗೆ ನೈತಿಕತೆಯ ಚಿಂತಕನೂ ಆಗಿದ್ದ. Such a great person Count Leo Tolstoy was and is. Still we remember him because he had got such beautiful thoughts in him which he left for us to be read and to be followed. And we lost Count Leo Tolstoy in the year 1910. This is what the brief introduction of Count Leo Tolstoy. Now we will begin the lesson Two Deer. I hope you all might be knowing the meaning Two Deer, because deer is a homonym. Deer is a homonym. I think you all remember the grammar aspects called homonym and homophones. Almost 8 months left. We have not met each other, student and the lecturer. But I think all the students have not forgotten the homonyms and homophones. Homonym is deer. Means here we have the same spelling, the same pronunciation, but two meanings. One deer is a deer which we use to call the loved ones. If I want to call my daughter with a bit affectionately, I say, "Come dear." It is a beloved word which is used for the close people and lovable people. That deer is dear, and Very expensive means ಅತಿಯಾಗಿ ದುಬಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದು, ತುಂಬಾ ದುಬಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಈ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, in this lesson, the meaning of dear is not beloved or close one, but dear here is expensive. The meaning of to is very, very, very what? Expensive. See the meaning of the title. The way how title is humorous, the entire story is humorous. You keep on laughing and laughing till the end of the lesson. So here the meaning of to dear is very, 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 very expensive. ತುಂಬಾ ದುಬಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಟು ಡಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತುಂಬಾ ದುಬಾರಿಯಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ರೈಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಟು ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ, we have to begin the lesson, and it is my order for all the students to get what? The textbook. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಕಡೆನೂ ಏನಿರಬೇಕು? ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ you will not understand the lesson, and also you will not be familiar with the words and spellings. If you lag in spellings and words in examination, you will not be able to analyze your answer. If you do not analyze your answer, you will not get marks. So it is your duty of all the students I'm talking about. Either the student is topper or average or below average, he must have to buy what? The textbook. If there is no textbook with you till now, it is your duty. When you watch this video, the duty of yours is you must get a textbook from bookstore, and later you should see what? The lesson. So now, anyhow, I have book because I am a lecturer. I know my duty. The same way, you also should know your duty. The duty is you should have what? The textbook, which is the springs. So let us begin the to dear to see what is to dear into dear. Dear, Unit 2, to dear, written by Leo Tolstoy. Near the borders of France and Italy, on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea, lies a tiny little kingdom called Monaco. Near the borders of what? France and Italy. There lies, there is. Lies ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಯರ್ ದ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಚ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್? France and Italy. In which continent? In Europe continent. Near the borders of France and Italy in Europe continent, on the shore of Mediterranean Sea. On the shore of what? Mediterranean Sea. On the shore. Shore means edge of the sea. ಸಮುದ್ರದ ದಂಡೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. So, near the borders of France and Italy in Europe continent, on the shore of which sea? Mediterranean Sea. There is what? A tiny little kingdom called What? Monaco. On the shore of Mediterranean Sea, there lies which kind of kingdom? Tiny little kingdom. Tiny little kingdom. I hope you know the meaning of tiny little. If not, can note down. Tiny little means very, very small. On the borders of France and Italy in Europe continent, on the shore of what? On the shore of Mediterranean Sea, there comes what? A small, very small kingdom. Kingdom ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು kingdom ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? ಆಸ್ಥಾನ. ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣದಾದ ಆಸ್ಥಾನ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಾಜ್ಯ. ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣದಾದ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಹೆಸರು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ 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 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್ 1 marks in your examination. Name the little tiny kingdom which lies on the Mediterranean shore. Into your lesson ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ಬರಿಬೇಕ್ರಿ? You must write Monaco with proper spelling. So next time let us see what happens. Many a small country town can boast more inhabitants than this kingdom, for there are only about 7,000 of them all told. And if all the land in kingdom were divided, there would not be an acre for each inhabitant. See, it's a small kingdom which lies on the shore of Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. Many a country town of France and Italy in Europe would have boasted of their inhabitants. The meaning of inhabitants is the people who live in a particular place. Simple ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ inhabitants means people. Many a country town could boast it of their people's strength by seeing the people who live in Monaco. ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಟ್ಟಣಗಳ ಸತಕ ಜಂಬದಿಂದ ಮೆರೀತಿದ್ವು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರ ಅವರ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜನರಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮೊನಾಕೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅನಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು, ಜನರ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the people, inhabitants which live in Monaco were just how many? 7,000 is very very important to be asked for 1 marks. How many inhabitants the Monaco kingdom it had got? ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ your answer should be 7,000. So ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಟ್ಟಣಗಳು, ಇಟಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಟ್ಟಣಗಳು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ತಾವು ಜಂಬದಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ವು, ಅರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಟ್ಟಣದಲ್ಲಿ 7,000ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದೇ ಮೊನಾಕೋ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ a small kingdom in which there are how many people? Only 7,000 people. And if the kingdom Monaco would have been divided, if the kingdom Monaco had been divided, each inhabitant wouldn't ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರ ಇನ್ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟೆಂಟ್ಗೆ, ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬ ವಾಸವಾಗಿದ್ದಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಎಕರೆ ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿಯ ಒಂದು ರಾಜನಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಲಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. The inhabitants were 7,000, but the land of Monaco was not even 7,000 acres. That much small kingdom it is. So the inhabitants of other country town were boosted for their population. ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. Why Monaco kingdom is called as a toy kingdom ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಂದಾಗ ನೀವೇನಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, Monaco kingdom was so small that if the land of Monaco is divided, each inhabitant wouldn't get an acre land. So it is called as a toy kingdom or tiny kingdom anta baribekagutte, which is also very important to be asked for 1 mark. Next line, let us see what it is given. But in this toy kingdom there is a real kinglet. Even though it is a very small tiny kingdom, a little kingdom, in that kingdom there lived who? There lived the real kinglet. There lived the real kinglet. The meaning of kinglet is the king or else the prince. ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಣ್ಣದಾದ ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಏನಿದ್ದ? ಕಿಂಗ್ಲೆಟ್ ಇದ್ದ, ರಾಜನು ಇದ್ದ, ರಾಜನು ಇದ್ದ. And he has a palace. And this kinglet, he had got what? A palace. ಆ ಒಂದು ನಿಜವಾದ ರಾಜನಿಗೆ ಏನಿತ್ತು? ನಿಜವಾದ ಅರಮನೆ ಇತ್ತು. And courtiers. And in his palace, he also had got what? The courtiers. Courtiers ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋರಲ್ಲ, ಸಭಾಪತಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Court here not refers to the court in which the judge gives the judgment. This court is again what? This word is again what? A homonym. Here the courtiers refers to the people who belong to the court of palace. ಅರಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಭಾಂಗಣ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸಭಾಂಗಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ? ಸಭಾಪತಿಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. I hope you understood. In that small kingdom there lived a real kinglet, and that real kinglet had got what? The palace. And in his palace he got what? The courtiers, and also had got the ministers. Ministers andre gottandkondini, ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು. And a bishop. Bishop means priest. ಪಾದ್ರಿಗಳು. ಮಹಾಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ರೋಣಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕೌರವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಂಡವರಿಗೆ ಸಲಹೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇವನ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಕೂಡ they had what? A bishop. And generals. The king also had got what? In his palace, the generals. Generals, heads. ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. In that small kingdom, the kinglet got the palace, courtiers, ministers, bishop, and the generals. And he also had got what? An army. ಇದು 7,000 ಜನರಿಗೆ ಏನಿದ್ದ, ಒಬ್ಬ ರಾಜನಿದ್ದ. ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಮನೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಸಭಾಪತಿಗಳಿದ್ರು, ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿದ್ರು, ಆಚಾರ್ಯರಿದ್ರು, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥರಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ 7,000 ಜನನ್ನ ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಸೈನ್ಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು. Now let us see in next paragraph what it is given. It is not a large army, only 60 men in all. The army which the kinglet he had got is not a large army, which is a very small army in which is an important numerical which will be asked for 1 mark, in which there were only how many soldiers or how many men? 60 men. 7,000 ಜನರಿಗೆ ಬೆಂಗಾವಲಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಸೈನ್ಯ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಸೈನ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನಿಕರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ರು? Only 60. How many men there were in the army of kinglets in 2-year lesson ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. So 60 men there were in the army of the kinglets in 2-year lesson ಅಂತ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So his army was not a large army, but a very small army in which he had got only 60 soldiers or men. But still it is an army. But still it is an army. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವನ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಮಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು ನಾವು. So still it is an army. There are also taxes in this kingdom. Even though the kingdom was very small, in that kingdom there were also what? The taxes. Very, very important. Will be asked for 1 mark. In his toy kingdom, the kinglet also laid the taxes for his people. How many people? 7,000. Don't forget. So let us see what taxes, on what he would collect the taxes. Here it is given. As elsewhere. As elsewhere means they are. Means the commodities on which he would collect the tax is given. A tax on tobacco. He would collect what? A tax on tobacco. In Monaco, the taxes would be collected on what all things? First one is on tobacco. And the next thing is on wine and spirit. On wine and spirit. Spirit ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ. Alcoholic drinking ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? We call as spirit. The kinglet would collect tax on wine and spirit. Collect tax on tobacco. And let us see on what else he would collect the tax. And had what? A poll tax. The meaning of poll tax is a tax collected by an individual who lives in a particular place. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ನಾಗರಿಕನಿಂದ ಕಂದಾಯವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಂದಾಯ ಅಥವಾ ತೆರಿಗೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? A poll tax. So in that small tiny kingdom, the kinglet would lay taxes for his inhabitants, the taxes on which he would get money is he would collect taxes from tobacco, would collect taxes from wine and spirit, and he also would collect a poll tax from an individual person from his kingdom. But though the people there drink and smoke as people do in other countries, there are so few of them that the prince would have been hard put to it to feed his courtiers and officials and to keep himself if he had not found a new and special source of revenue. These lines it is given that even though the people of the kinglets would drink and smoke, he was not getting much tax. Because not all the people would drink and smoke there. The people who would drink and smoke would pay the tax of wine and spirit and tobacco. The others would pay only the poll tax. So he was not getting much tax. He would have found himself very difficult to feed his courtiers and the ministers, and he even would have found himself very difficult to keep himself comfortable if he was not getting what? A special revenue. Special revenue. I hope you know the meaning of revenue. Revenue is nothing but what? The tax. If the king would have not got the special revenue, he would have found himself very difficult to take care of his courtiers and his people, his ministers, and to keep himself comfortable. Means kinglet was getting special tax. Which that special tax he was getting? Next line, in the same line, it is given. Let us see on what he was getting the special revenue. This special revenue comes from a gaming house. This special revenue which the kinglet was getting, which the kinglet of Monaco was getting, he was getting from what? The gaming house. Should remember this will be asked for 1 mark. ಮತ್ತೆ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕಸಿಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So you should be very familiar with this gaming house word. How did the king of Monaco get the special revenue ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಕಂದ್ರ from where did the kinglet of Monaco was getting the special revenue ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. So ಆ ತರ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ your answer should be what? The gaming house. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕಂದಾಯ ಸಲ್ಲಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಅದು ಗೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೌಸ್ ದಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. Then what is this gaming house? Let us see through the next lines. Where people play roulette. In the gaming house, what the people they were doing? They were playing roulette. Roulette ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಚಂದದರಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಅದು. ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು? ಜೂಜಾಟ. ಜೂಜಾಟ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಬ್ಬಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಆಟ ಆಡೋದು. ಸೋತ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಸೋತಿ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತೀವಿ, ಗೆದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ವಾಟ್? ಅವರ್ ಲಕ್. ಗೆದ್ರೆ ಚಲೋ, ಸೋತ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗತ್ತ? ಮನಿ ವಿ ಲಾಸ್. So such kind of gaming house was there where in Monaco, from which the kinglet was getting what? The special revenue. So now let us see next line what it is given. People play and whether they win or lose, the keeper always gets a percentage on the turnover. And out of his profits, he pays a large sum to the prince. Here in the gaming house, the people would play which game? Roulette. Roulette, Jujata. People there who play the roulette, whether they win or lose, the keeper means the owner of the gaming house was getting what? He was getting what? His profits. Whether the player of roulette loses or wins, the keeper was getting his profits. And out of his profits, the large amount he had to pay whom? He had to pay the kinglet of Monaco in the form of what? In the form of tax. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ತನ್ನ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಆಗು ಹೋಗುಗಳನ್ನ ಆ ಒಂದು ಮೊನಾಕೋದ ಕಿಂಗ್ಲೆಟ್ ಸರಿದೂಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಂತ ಬರುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, ನೇಮ್ ದ ಕಮಾಡಿಟೀಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮೊನಾಕೋ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ a tax on tobacco, tax on wine and spirit, tax which is collected as a poll tax, and a tax from gaming house. So these all commodities you have to write to fetch 1 mark. And this special revenue or special tax is also will be asked. If that is asked, you only have to write the gaming house. Next line, let us see what it is given. The reason he pays so much is that it is the only such gambling establishment left in Europe. The reason the keeper of the gaming house pays large sum amount or large tax to the kinglet was that was the only gambling establishment left not in Monaco but in entire Europe continent. So the owner or the keeper of gaming house had to pay the large sum to the kinglet. Some of the little German sovereigns used to keep gaming houses of the same kind, but some years ago they were forbidden to do so. Some of the German sovereigns had the same kind of gaming houses in their kingdom, but they were forbidden to do so. Forbidden, the meaning of forbidden is prohibit. Prohibit ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಷೇಧ. ನಿಷೇಧ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಬಹಿಷ್ಕರಿಸೋದು. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾವರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿನಿ. ಸಾವರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸುಪ್ರೀಮ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಜರ್ಮನ್ನ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಗೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಲಾಯಿತು, ಅದನ್ನ ಬಹಿಷ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಗೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಾಯಿತು. ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಬಿಡನ್, ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಫಾರ್ಬಿಡ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನಿಷೇಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಷೇಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ದ ರೀಸನ್. The reason they were stopped was because these gaming houses did so much harm. It's very important when we ask for how many marks. 4 marks ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ. I forgot to tell you one more thing on this lesson. You will be asked how many marks? 5 marks. 1 marks ಇಂದ 1 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು 4 marks ಇಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So the reason why the German sovereigns had forbidden this gaming house is this gaming house did so much harm to the inhabitants of a particular kingdom. Which kind of harm it is happened is explained in the next line. A man would come and try his luck. Then he would risk all he had and lose it. What the man would do? The man would risk all he had and lose it. The man would go to the gaming house and would risk whatever money he had in the game and would have lost. ಆಟ ಆಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದ, ತನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದುಡ್ಡೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಆಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಗೆಲ್ಲುವುದರ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಸೋತ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. Then he would even risk money that did not belong to him and lose that too. ತನ್ನ ಹಣ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. He would have borrowed money from other people on the base of interest. ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಹಂಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಾಲ ತೆಗೆದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂಥರ ಇದು we call a drug. ಆ ಡ್ರಗ್ದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಶೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಜೂಜಾಟದ್ದು ನಶೆ ಆಟ ಆಡೋರಿಗೆ ಏರ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. The man would have lost his money and would have borrowed the money from others on the base of interest and would have lost that money too. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಸಾಲ ಪಡೆದ ಹಣನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅವರು, ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. And then in despair in unhappiness. ತನ್ನ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಸಾಲವಾಗಿ ಪಡೆದ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹತಾಶೆಗೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದ. He would drown or shot himself. ಹಂಗ ಹತಾಶೆಗೊಂಡಾಗ what he would do, he would have drawn in the water, immersing in the water, or else would have shot himself. ಸಾಲಗಾರರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they come to us and start asking for the money as well as the interest. ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಇವನು ಜೂಜಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ತನ್ನ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಮುಂದ ಸಾಲವಾಗಿ ಪಡೆದ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಆ ಸಾಲಗಾರರಿಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಮರಳಿ ಕೊಡಕ್ ಆಗದೇನೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬೇಜಾರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಿಗುಪ್ಸೆಗೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು, ಡ್ರಾನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಮರ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್, ಕೆರೆಗೋ ಬಾವಿಗೋ ಹಾರಿ ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ತನ್ನನ್ನ ತಾನು ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಹಾರ್ಮ್ ಈ ಗೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಸಾವರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ it was told that to be banned. Forbidden ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ banned such gaming houses. So next line, let us see what it is given. So the Germans forbade their rulers to make money in this way. So because of this reason, the Germans banned their rulers. The German sovereigns banned their rulers to make money in that way, which might harm the life of a person. But there was no one to stop the Prince of Monaco. But here there was no one to stop whom? To stop the kinglet of which kingdom? Monaco kingdom. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮೊನಾಕೋ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಲೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೀ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್. And he remained with the monopoly of the business. It was a monopoly and nobody asked him to be stopped the gaming house, and he remained with the monopoly of this gaming house business. Monopoly, single sovereignty, ಏಕ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಅವನೇ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ? ಸಾವರಿಯನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳೋರು ಕೇಳೋರು ಯಾರು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ he had a gaming house in his kingdom from which he was getting a special revenue. In next class we will see what all things that happened in a short story called Two Deer. Thank you and see you in next class.